anybody else. You always kind of want to be able to go in and make sure that you're making good use of your day. So big of those things is lead generation and value. I think the biggest thing is to sustain a career that lasts is to be able to find your business, but it's also as important as doing your business. So lead generation right here, the action or process of identifying and cultivating potential customers to sell, buy, invest, or rent real estate with you. The value of that is the importance, worth, and usefulness of a service or information. So the more people in the know and the more people that know that you're in real estate, the more people that you are going to create your lead generation with, okay? They're going to trust you. They're going to give you those opportunities. Value. It helps to find what you really know. It helps to find what you mean. And it's basically the key to success in your lead generation, because if you know your worth, if you know your service and your information, it's also helping you with your lead generation and most importantly, your trust. So building your business from your base. It's basically a steady and thriving business is the result of your activity, okay? And your activity is continuous prospecting and marketing your activities. It's going to add to your value, and therefore it's going to give you that strong and thriving business. So think of that. Active, continuous prospecting and your market activities, plus your added value, which is part of your value proposition that you've created for yourself, is going to give you that steady and thriving business.
And guys, just touching on that real quick. I mean, agents come to me all the time and they will ask questions like, oh, I want to send out note cards, but what should I say in the note cards? Or I want to reach out to these buyers, or, you know, hey, there's a for sale by owner in my neighborhood. I want to go, you know, track them down. What should I do? Just always come back if you're, you know, if you don't have a mentor or manager, somebody that you can reach out to, or maybe it's 9, 10 o'clock at night and you don't feel comfortable, you know, obviously ringing the phone at that hour. My biggest thing is always come back to what is the value? If you were in that person's shoes, what would you think would be valuable to that person? And I think it makes the conversation a lot easier to be had, and it makes you feel like you're not being salesy. Always come back to the value. For any buyer, a home buyer checklist or things to do, you know, before you get pre-approved, you know, what property you should and should not be looking at, all these little things that you could put together with marketing material from your title reps, which is free, from your lenders, which is free, from your own marketing team in your company. They have, I'm sure, tons of pieces that are free that you can assemble together. Hell, Cloud CMA has tons of free pieces that you can slap together to make an impressive presentation that you can kind of, again, make a touch point out of. But always coming back to what would be valuable for that individual in their situation or their circumstance. I just want to really highlight that because I get more questions, I think, on that than anything else. You know, what would make this easier for me to reach out? Just put yourself in their shoes. What would be valuable right now? So.
Thank you. No, I love it. Okay, so on Monday, we talked about lead generation by making a list of your contacts. So hopefully everybody had time to be able to look at their workbook and be able to look at those wonderful spreadsheets, or I wouldn't say spreadsheets, but it's a sheet, basically putting in a contact list, you know, looking to see all the people that you might have been able to contact. So for database, your database is your tool for communication with contacts organized for rapid access and use. For those of you that are CBCA, I think Nick talked Wednesday, sorry, my brain's a little fuzzy, about a new CRM that is going to be coming out with Coldwell Banker. Some of us use other, you know, LionDesk, whatever that case may be. Make sure that you have your database and your tool to be able to organize all of that for you. And again, the best way to build your database is start with your sphere of influence, whether it be dentists, doctors, a full service, you know, person that comes to your home, your family, your friends, all of those are part of your sphere of influence. Sphere of influence, again, is the people who you know and who know you're in real estate, and most importantly, like and trust you, okay? So, a lot of people ask this and they don't really realize, and I think that's why me and Nick and even the company just hit on this. The database is your very foundation of your business. It's where your success is at, okay? Especially in our time right now when we're not able to hold open houses and we're not able to do what we used to do as the normal, maybe it could be farming, geographical farming. It's so much more important at this time in our business now during this pandemic to be able to make sure that your business is built from your base, and your base is your spirit influence, okay? And it's putting everybody you know into that CRM and starting a communication plan with them. If some of you wanted to go ahead and use Zap right now and be able to send out all of those wonderful scripts that are in there, or emails, contacts list, go ahead and start doing it, because it's something for you to start getting in front of your spirit influence, your SOI, right? And you're starting to build that relationship, whether it may just be, you know, what's going on in the marketplace. There's wonderful free templates out there, like Cloud CMA has a great one. Some of our affiliated base has some great market shares that you can share, whether it just be by email and you're sending out email blasts with them, just something so they're starting to see that you're an active agent and that you're starting to build a relationship with them. And a lot of people, I'm going to hit on this really fast. A lot of agents just want to send everything by email. Well, how many emails do we get a day where we just delete, right? And we're not even opening them up. My word advice, and this is something I always teach my agents too, is if you're going to send them out something by email, follow up with a voice. Give them a call. Hey, Nick, did you see the email that I sent you about spring cleaning and kind of some of like the best habits to be able to make your house, you know, allergy free, because spring's always about, you know, those wonderful allergies that hit us. Just wanted to make sure you got it, see how you and the family's going, you know, whatever the case may be, just bringing a touch and a voice to that, making sure that you're following up with them. And like I said, it could be just something as random as that. So don't forget to always follow up, if that makes sense. Nick, is there anything in the chat? Sorry, because I'm not seeing it.
There was a question on, I don't know, I had to step away for a second.
I'm sorry.
There was a question on expireds. So I'm trying to ask Phil and Chris about the expired situation, if that's still off the table. I mean, if I had to give my answer to you, I would say I know agents are still working expireds. So it's one of those things like, yes, is there a lawsuit right now for people using the expired date in the MLS and prospecting off of it? And is that in existence as far as like a legal battle goes? Yes, that's happening. So should you try to work other angles before you choose expireds? Yes, I would say that that's a smart way to go. There's so many other ways you can prospect, but I do know that there's agents still prospecting. I would just hate for one of you to get drug into a lawsuit or, you know, or class action or what have you. So again, oddly enough, I will be talking about expireds next week, but I'm just going to be talking about them more in a broad view, just to give you guys kind of, you know, if in fact we can go back to doing them, at least you'll be prepared for that day.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that. And yes, Krista, I got my chat up. We here are not supposed to be marketing expired, but as Nick says, we know that there's renegades out there.
Yep.
Our little rebels. Okay, so our top of mind status. So basically, we kind of talked about, it's a two-prong approach basically to a top of mind status. You know, your initial contact with new people, your high frequency, you know, it talks about calls, emails, text, social media on a daily or every other day or every 3-day basis. They go from short durations from 1 to 3 weeks, and then using value. So how to find your value. You don't want to think that there's overkill, but as we talked about on Monday, it usually takes, and I completely forgot already how many attempts, Nick, chime in because you're the guru on that, of how many it takes to get somebody to be able to, as I say, hook them, right? To where they're finding your value proposition and they're finally wanting to work with you or start to come around a little bit and warm up. But there is some great, what we call the campaigns in Zap, if you haven't already gone into there, to be able to start up these little campaigns with your spirit influence, to be able to start sending them out items of value, okay? Usually 1 to 3 weeks is what we recommend to be able to do that. So don't forget about that right now. Once when Coldwell Banker rolls out the new system, we think that's still going to be integrated, or we've been told that's still going to be an integrated process of that, but to know what it actually looks like, we don't know. And we know that it's probably not going to be rolling out until after the first of the year anyways. So in the time being, go ahead and jump on the train and start using app or Zap for those of you that want to start reaching out to some clients in Sphere Influence, okay? And make sure that you're giving them value. It could be in our association here through PWR, there's those great monthly market trends that kind of show you could put in your zip code, put in a city, and it'll show you what is going on in the marketplace for the past month. And it compares it to the last 12 months. That's something great item of value that you can send to your Sphere Influence as well. That's completely free for you to obtain and be able to slide in and create a campaign about that to your Sphere Influence. So you can say, hey, did you realize what's going on in our market, you know, down here in Belmont Shore? Look to see how we've changed in 12 months and see, you know, where pricing's at. It might be a good time to maybe invest in something. Interest rates are low. Let's have a discussion. Let's have a chat. So it's definitely something to be able to go out there. So prospect versus marketing. So there's two different types of lead generation, right? Our prospecting is our Sphere Influence. Open houses, farming, social media, right? Some of those are kind of off the market right now, but some of us are out there, you know, it's what your market is. It's your communication style. Marketing is another part of your lead generation, and that's your Facebook ads, that's your newsletters, periodic mailers, and your postcards. Some of us still send out, if you're able to talk to our many affiliates that we have, whether it be a title rep, a home warranty rep, sometimes they have marketing sources for you. They might be able to generate something for you that you can have as a PDF, have as a JPEG, and maybe run a Facebook ad on that. They can also send it out as a mailer to a certain geographical area that maybe you're connected with, or that you feel that's an area that you want to be the market guru on, you know, whether it be a geographical area or a certain neighborhood. So there's those two type of blends of prospecting versus marketing. So prospecting is you're out there prospecting. You're looking for the clients, you're looking for the leads and the generation. Marketing is where you're basically, I hate to say it, but you're pimping yourself out, right? You're showcasing what you're doing. You're saying, hey, look at me. I am the specialized, you know, guru in your area, the expert. Come look at me, come to me for all your real estate needs. So the average conversion time. So the conversion time is basically the amount of time it takes to generate a lead and transform that lead into an active buyer or seller. So prospecting sources have a shorter average conversion time, okay? But marketing sources have a longer average conversion time. Does anybody think why they know that? If you want to think about that same for just a minute, you know, of why prospecting has a shorter, but why marketing has a longer. Anybody have anything they want to chime in of why?
Ed says personal knowledge. Okay. Anybody else? Why would prospecting sources be faster than marketing sources? Marketing is necessarily going to someone you know.
So prospecting is active, right? You're actively trying to prospect. It puts you in front of the customer, in front of your clients now. It gives them the information. It gives them their, you know, they're able to ask the questions. It helps them make a decision. Marketing is passive. Marketing is where, you know, it relies on the customer to contact you, okay? So that's basically the difference of why it's longer, because exactly that, you don't really know the person. You haven't had, you know, a conversation with them. You haven't had any sort of interpersonal communication. You're basically just out there throwing it out there, and it's like fishing. You're throwing it out there and you're waiting for that customer to bite on the hook for them to contact you. So you want your generation, or your lead generation to generate business from both, right? So you want it to be you want your business to be a great mix of prospecting and marketing, okay? So what they said and what we've kind of talked about earlier is the most successful businesses are prospecting and marketing campaigns that complement each other, okay? So marketing can lead to instant results, like a Facebook post, it gets an immediate response. Prospecting can take longer because you're maturing the relationship, you're nurturing it, you're letting it grow. So of course you want your lead generation to generate business for both today and tomorrow. Think of that, because then that way you're going to have a mix between the two of your prospecting and marketing activities. So they call it like a spectrum. I haven't heard that word.
Here's the deal too, guys, something to keep in mind when you're going through, again, it is very much an active versus, being reactive as far as your prospecting goes, or active versus passive. And it's funny how, especially when we used to door knock, a lot, or do open house, people would sit there and they would say, well, this time I'm going to go out there and door knock, but I'm not really going to knock. I'm just going to drop. And I'm like, okay, well, you just changed the activity. Is if you're going to knock, you're being active, right? A knocker is somebody who's an active prospector. Somebody who says, well, I'm just going to drop. Now, I know that when you're doing a farm or you're doing a geographic area, what have you, even your SOI, sometimes you're going to text, sometimes you're going to call, right? Just like sometimes you're going to knock, sometimes you're going to drop. So it is a combination effort. I think that's what Nicole's covering here, is that it's a combination. You can't just do one, doing just one or the other is not necessarily great for your business as a whole. So again, it does take different aspects of that to be successful. But the point is, obviously, being proactive, being active about your business, going to the clientele. A big rule I have for my new agents is, reaching out to 5 SOI a week. And I'm very strict about not texting. I want you to call. I want you to get a coffee date. I want you to get in front of them as fast as you possibly can, even if it's just to say, hi, how are you? Because we want to nurture those leads. A text once in a while, a Christmas card once in a while, all of that's fine and dandy, but it's not necessarily going to get you closer to a sale in the time that you want. So make sure when you're looking at your schedule or you're looking at your business plan, how much of it is reactive and how much of it is active. That's a huge, huge thing you want to pay attention to.
I love it. Thank you. So on this next page, it kind of talks about going back to your own personal goal projector. And what your transaction goals look like. So everybody's transaction goals look different, okay? And they're what we always recommend is taking your leads and maybe rating them. That's one thing about Zap, that it kind of is supposed to rate your clients for you, right? But some agents have a system where they know how many ones they need to be able to meet their goal. Ones meaning that their leads are going to happen in something 30 days or less. We know that they're like jumped off the fence. They're at your door. They really want to work with you. They maybe have already done a buyer consultation with them. Your number twos, or we know they're in the pipeline. They're working. They're maybe getting some loan situations taken care of. And we know that within the next 30 to 60 days, they're going to be jumping on board and we're going to start working with them. And then you have your so on and so on. So it really talks about how many of these do you want to be able to have happen, okay? A lot of agents want to look at their pipeline, and there's a formula that they can do of how many they want per day. Looking at this and looking at your monthly transaction goal, you can rate your clients and your sphere of influence and by 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. It's basically going back and looking at your daily contact list, how many people you need to contact per day, and try to set up appointments with, and you'll start being able to rate your leads as if they're hot or not, basically. Not if they look hot or not by visual appearances, but whether it's that they're hot or not, that we know that they are getting ready to boil over and take that step and write those offers or write a listing agreement and get them out and about. A lot of agents find that it does help them rating their clients. So they know that that's where they're going to spend majority of their time and touching base with them, because they know that they're ready to get forward or to be able to go forward. So we're going to talk about some proven lead generations here. There's a lot of tried and true lead generation programs and situations. We're going to be covering all of these. Nick's going to cover a lot of them here in next week, and then I believe the last week he'll cover them. So some of those are, you know, your sphere influence, which I think is your major kicker in your business, especially if you are new. If you are not new, it's going back and touching base with our clients and our previous clients that we've had. A lot of times after a few transactions or a few years, we might just kind of drop them off the spectrum because you've got new clientele. Never forget those agents, those clients when you first started out. Always touch base with them, whether it be yearly, quarterly, quick phone call, just touching base with them. Especially now because interest rates are so low. Some of your clients that you may have had, 5 to 7 years ago, their rates may be higher than what they can refinance for today. So it's always good to be able to touch back to those as well. Nick next week's going to talk about the FSBOs, which I don't know, out here in the Long Beach area, we don't have too many FSBOs. I don't know what it's like out in the Temecula area or Murrieta. If you guys experience a lot of those. Of course, expireds, he's going to hit a little bit on that. We're going to talk too about our open houses, because even though technically we cannot use the term open houses or have those in interpersonal person-to-person open houses, there is some great ways that we can host a virtual open house. Here at Coldwell Banker, we just had a great session. I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday with one of our agents. So Nick's going to hit on that. And again, our farming and our social media. So those are some things that are going to be coming back next week that we're going to hit on. So talking about lead sources, we're going to be able to provide you with do we have a question? Okay. How to do the ABC to be able to stay on track, okay? Our A is our acquiring of meeting our new contacts and to get contact information. B is our building and our nurturing of relationships. C is our close to getting that appointment, right? And D is develop to maintain and strengthen your relationship. I think D is probably one of the most forgotten that some of our agents do because they forget to maintain and strengthen that relationship. So for those of you that are new, that have not closed a transaction yet, do not forget when you do close your first transaction, do not forget to follow up with your previous clients. Okay, guys? So acquire. We're going to hit this a little bit more. The purpose is to make as many contacts as possible and ensure you have all contact information. It's face-to-face, it's telephone, it's email, it's social media. And I love that they put snail mail, right? There's a lot of negativity going on with the USPS right now as far as snail mail. So basically they're talking about the process, where to go, where the people are, and make as many contacts as needed. Right now, I think, it's definitely calling your spirit influence. We're going to keep hitting on that because it's how many people you know, okay? So you want the payoff of that is to really be able, exactly what it says, to have a robust database that you're always able to go back to, okay? Building is establish and nurturing those relationships with your leads. It's for those looking for the business now, where you're going to communicate and provide the value, and that is helping with your scripts that we've provided you on Monday in your workbook, and also your value proposition, okay? The more people you know, the more that know that you're in real estate and like you and trust you, the more business you're going to get. One of these is, I'm going to talk on personal situation really fast. I had a wonderful 2.5-hour PTA meeting last night via Zoom. Not looking forward to it, not even realize that I'm on this executive committee, but because it's my baby's last year at the school, they nagged me for a chairperson for something. Well, somebody asked me, one of my clients one of my agents right before I had to jump on the call, he goes, do you really get business from your being on this PTA? And I said, that's the only reason I've stuck through this stupid meetings for the past 8 years is because, yes, I have built relationships and nurtured those relationships, and I have gained a lot of business from those. Not necessarily from some of the members, but from people that they know they have referred me. So having patience and grace for 8 years of being on a PTA has driven me completely insane. I have provided that value to them, to teachers, to principals, because they knew that I was in real estate. And so therefore they would ask me questions and I would provide them with values. Did not happen overnight. It definitely took some years of, but the payoff was great. I mean, you know, I got business out of it. So little side story there. Another little side story, I'll let you know, for anybody that has children, you always want to be the, what is that, like the room parent. You always want to be the team mom. You always want to be involved in that, because anytime you're gaining, first of all, you're gaining people for your sphere influence that don't even know it yet, because you're probably getting their phone numbers and their emails. Second of all, if you're a room mom and you have to send out an email to the rest of the parents in the class, well, guess what? You're sending it from your work email that has what your business is down at the bottom with a little friendly picture of yourself. So that has worked over the years too. So always do that. Because you're demonstrating your, you know, pimping yourself out, right? Like I like to say. So then we have our close. It's leaning into the relationships that you built and the value that you have shown. And I think the biggest thing that we get hesitant on as agents is asking for the business, asking for the referrals in return. You know, think of when you go to a car dealership and you drop it off, and then when you go to pick it up, they said, okay, we're going to give you a call, or you're going to get an email, you know, about our service. You know, we're rated off of, we work off of referrals. We're rated off of how many stars you're going to give us. Can you give us a 5-star? Did I provide you excellent value and knowledge? Did I, you know, fix your car and explain the situation? Whatever the case may be. Well, you're more inclined to say, yes, I'm going to give you those 5 stars. You did a great job. Same thing in real estate. Do not hesitate to be able to ask for the business and ask for the referrals in return, and say, hey, we had a great relationship, Jennifer. You know, we closed on time. I led you through the process. You know, would you mind giving me a referral? Would you mind giving me a review? You know, and anything that anybody, all that I ask is, if anybody talks about real estate in your surroundings, can you refer them to me? You know, there's a lot of scripts and closing techniques that we've been able to have, point in case in our booklets. There are some great closing and asking for the business. And so you were supposed to be able to practice those this week too. And again, the payoff is that you can come away with an appointment or referral that can lead you to a sell, or leads you, you know, to another transaction. So our D is our develop. So after you've established a relationship, you're continuously developing it and you're repeating it. That's the biggest thing. You're getting repeat business and referrals. So that's why you never want to give up on your sphere influence. You never want to give up on your past clients, because they are going to help you still develop your business. Have you seen those agents that say work off of referrals only, right? It's because they've really taken number D2 and they've ran with it. They've developed their business around their relationship, and they're continually asking for business and referrals. Okay, so that is what the purpose is. The process is that you're constantly keeping in communication with them. That's what it comes down to, is you're having consistent and frequent communication with, you know, all of your contacts. And then you're following up. Again, here, I think the payoff is completely follow up, contact. So if you guys haven't heard over this past, you know, hour so far, I've constantly hit on sphere influence, and I've constantly talked about staying in connection with your past clients, okay? And developing, furthering that business and that referral. So
Nicole, Lydia has a question. She said, Nicole, what can you suggest when you have to develop a relationship, and during the interaction I have found some that clearly have no common sense and are headstrong? I think that's what Lydia was saying. What are your thoughts on that?
So if you have somebody that's headstrong and has no, I'm sorry, I was blonde for a minute.
Sorry, let me clarify. I've come across, because I'm a grandma now, but I remember those days. I coming across to people that I have spoke to, and they're coming, and I'm trying to, give the information they need, and then, but they have this off the wall something or other, and they're just letting me have it, and I'm saying, well, I'm trying to tell them about the information. I'm more than happy to give this information, but they just come at me, especially with their, I mean, I don't mean to be political, but they come up with something our president has said that has no logic to answer. So how, I mean, I'm just using that for one example. So there's a lot of things that have no logic to the questions being opposed to me, and I'm trying to be polite as possible when in my mind I'm saying, is this chick real?
We get into objection handling in this course the last 2 weeks
Good,
for
thank
both
you.
buyers and sellers. So maybe we'll table that because
Thank you.
I already can see in the chat people are like, oh God. So
Sorry.
it's all good. No, that's a great question. There are totally mechanisms you can use and defense tools you can use, yeah, I would say just hold on that for a minute. If it's urgent, you can always call Nicole or myself and we'll walk you through maybe some now. But if it can wait a week or two, you're going to be in good hands.
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Thank you.
Because right now my mind is saying, drop them. But I know that's not the good thing to say, that we do have objection handling that we're going to
and that's funny. That's funny because my head tells me, okay, let's pivot. So how do we pivot to like make it happen, right? So like I'm all about, like, I love crazy people because crazy people are normally wrong.
Are crazy.
Well, they're usually wrong, which is great. So like what's fun to me is like, how do we pivot the story with what you're telling them to make them awaken themselves to what's actually happening? Because a lot of times people who sound crazy just have these opinions that don't make a lot of sense. But if you know how to dissect those opinions, it actually becomes a super fun game for the realtor. So we'll talk about that later.
But and with a smile, I love Aaliyah's thing. With a smile.
And a nod of the head and be like, okay. See, me now, I'm at a point more where in my life where personally I'm like, I don't got time for that. Bye.
Thank you.
Reverse psychology.
Yes. Okay, so lead generation source. Again, you guys, we can't hit on enough. Your sphere influence is your most important lead generation, that is properly managed. So, I mean, I have an agent that his lead generation is on a scratch pad that he has like crossed off with all his little notes. That's his lead generation. But you know what? Darn it, it's what works for him. So again, contacts in your sphere influence are going to yield you the most return as far as your effort, right? Okay, they're going to be your biggest cheerleader, so to say. So we're going to talk about your acquiring, your ABCs, your double play. You got to look at how those ABCs relate to your business. You've already started your contact list, which is helping you build your business, right? But to be able to capitalize on your sphere of influence, it needs to be taken at what your double play numbers are. So if you have it that you need to make 5 contacts every day and go on 1 appointment every week, well, then you need to look at how many contacts are in your sphere of influence, right? And how you're meeting those contacts. Whether it may be if you're going into the grocery store now and you're wearing your name tag, and you have a favorite, checker cashier that you always go to because you always want to go and see Maria, and she knows, or maybe she doesn't know you're in real estate, but she knows everything about you. She may know who your kids are, who your parents are, whatever the case may be. And you walk in with your little name tag on and she's like, hey, Nicole, you never told me you were in real estate, like what's going on in the marketplace, what's going on, blah, blah, blah. And you start building up a little relationship with them, right? That could be a way of how you're meeting new contacts. It could be that you're meeting the new contacts, like I just spoke about, of maybe joining an organization where your kids are involved in, or whatever that case may be. Excuse me one moment.
Let me have a little rant real quick.
You go.
Okay. So I want to be very clear about this. Every time I sit down and try to create an SOI list with an agent, every time they give me like pushback. almost, oh, I'll say almost every time. And I love when I get the young people who will say, oh, all my friends are in school right now. They're not going to be buying anytime soon. They're all stacked with student loan debt. Or they're just going to be starting out in the workforce and they can't afford it. Or, oh, all of them, or if they're maybe somebody's older that I'm working with, and they'll say, well, all of my, SOI have their home, they have their grandkids, and they're not going anywhere, so they're not going to move. Stop getting in your own way, okay? You have no idea who your friends are in college and who they interact with, who they know, who they talk to. You have no idea who your friends who have paid off their houses or whatever, and they're in their senior years with grandkids and they seem like they're not moving. You have no idea who they interact with. So stop putting value on the immediate move that might come from the individual in your SOI and start putting it on the weight of that relationship with who they might know. I think of it like spiders in a garden, and I know that's going to sound super weird, but this analogy was given to me one time. We don't want to just focus on our own web, okay? And we don't just want to talk to the other spiders in the garden. We really want to get super familiar with their entire web. So imagine being in a garden, right? And the goal is the spiders to catch bugs. Well, stop worrying about just your own freaking web. Start jumping on other people's webs and figuring out who they know, right? Or who they talk to. So again, it's not your goal is not to just have one web. It's to master the entire garden that is your SOI and know what's going on in all of their webs as well. So next time you get invited to that family barbecue and you hate that certain cousin, you can't stand that one person, that aunt who yells at you every time he gets drunk and all that crazy stuff. Maybe that's just my family. But go to that barbecue and interact with people. And though you may think that there's no leads there, try to have a conversation about real estate with somebody there, and you'd be surprised what you will find. Again, like I said last Monday, I lost out on $3 million worth of business my first couple of years in real estate because I did not take advantage of my SOI and I underestimated their potential. Please do not do that. Please do not do that. It's not worth it.
I love your Charlotte's Web story. Thank you for
Yeah,
sharing
that
that.
I don't know where I heard that, but I thought that it always has stuck with me. I'm like,
I love it.
was genius.
Okay, so we're going to talk about the ABCs and go back to the B of building. You want to start and build your campaign. Why are face-to-face contacts so important of the campaign? Anybody want to share in chat why they think, face-to-face, voice-to-voice contacts? I'll give you 1 minute. Well, I'm trying to stay within our time frame, so I'll let you know. You get the best results when you're talking to somebody face-to-face or voice-to-voice. You're going to have a better chance to be able to grab them that way when you speak voice-to-voice, face-to-face, okay? If you're doing that Facebook ad, you're not having a good conversion rate to try to get them for that appointment. So just think about that.
Can I ask something about that?
Yeah.
Because with COVID-19, it just feels like it's sort of taken that face-to-face, that initial face-to-face out. You eventually get there. But I mean, like those clients I'm working with now, I still haven't seen one of their faces without a mask on. So, I mean, I guess, but the initial was phone connect.
Well, but that still counts because you're having a voice-to-voice conversation with them.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So just think of it that way, okay?
Okay.
Because you're not just running a Facebook ad, right? You're actually having conversations with them.
What worked for me this week, Nicole, was Zoom. I'm trying to get better at Zoom, so I asked two of my clients, I said, I'm dying to see your face. Can we do Zoom on your phone? And they say yes, and it was fun. So I'm still having the face-to-face. It's just as long as the client wants to do it, then that's fine. And both of my clients were very happy, and we had a great time.
I will tell you, I have one client right now that I'm never going to meet. And the whole listing presentation, everything was done via Zoom. I did it that way. And it is a lot of fun because you're kind of getting through, is my screen sharing, lightly, or can you see it? Like whatever the case may be. And I think it makes it good. It makes it fun. And I think they're excited to be on like a Zoom call too. on some of the cases. Like I know one of my client was all excited, like, yes, I want to do a Zoom call. And I'm like, okay, I'm on these every day, but sure, let's do it. So right here gives you a great little example script for C, for close. Every time you speak with your sphere influence, do not forget to ask for a conversation. Like right here, what real estate questions or needs do you have right now? And you don't have to say it like that. You could be like, hey, Britt, you know, just so glad to catch up with you. I'm so glad the kids are doing well. Like everybody's safe, everybody's healthy. Like that's the most important thing going on right now, you know. But hey, do you know of anything? Do you need any real estate questions answered while I have you on the phone? Do you have any needs? Like, are you concerned with maybe what's going on with interest rates right now? Like, just let me know. I'm always here to help. Do you have anything? You know? And it could be like, no, I don't have anything. Okay, well, you know, I'm always here. Like, just give me a call, give me a jingle. Like, you know, I'm always happy to help answer anything you have. Okay, cool, great. Something as easily as making it yourself, but never forget to ask. I've made it a running joke amongst my family and my friends, and even some of my clients now, because my clients have become friends, where I'm always ending that conversation with them. When we used to have people over at the house, they all knew sometime during my barbecue, I was going to take like a little moment cleaning my glass and asking them, okay, guys, do you need any real estate questions answered? You know, I'll be like Lucy in my little psychiatrist box. Come and see me. I'll give you a drink. Whatever the case may be, make it fun. So don't forget to ask, but this is a great little dialogue here, right here, that you can be able to use. I think the biggest thing that a lot of our newer agents always ask, well, how can I provide that value? You know, how they know that I'm new. How can I showcase it to them? So I think when being able to obtain goal of having future business, right, to be able to develop those relationships is to just provide your value, provide valuable information. You know, and that could be just a few minutes because you don't want to linger on, just letting them know what the market update's doing, you know, be able to research of what's going on in a certain area of Rose Park in Long Beach, you know, if that's where one of your sphere lives or something. So that way, excuse me, they know that you've done your homework and you're providing value to them, okay? You're providing significant information so that way in case they ask a question or you can throw something out at them that, you know, you're providing that value to them, okay?
Especially if you guys, especially right now, you guys, I mean, one of the biggest hot things to do right now, I mean, rates actually ticked up a little bit the last couple of days, but the truth is it's still a great time to refinance. If you're not having conversations with your people right now about refinancing, which is an easy segue into real estate talk, which doesn't have a lot to do with buying or selling necessarily, that's a good value point to bring up right now. Hey guys, not sure if I can save you some money per month, but why don't I pair you with one of my lenders and you guys can at least check it out and see. I used to do that with providing CMAs to people that I knew. I'd be like, hey guys, you know, this was, you know, a few years ago, I would say things like, hey, do you guys even know what your house is worth right now? Do you ever check your estimate online? You know, do you even know what's going on? Do you want me just to run a quick CMA? I can just send it to you. You can digest it, whatever. Usually that leads to a follow-up call about value. And maybe that will lead to a potential talk of, well, you know what? We have been thinking about selling it. It won't be for a year, whatever. But you're the person that's having that conversation with them, not somebody else. And that's what's important. So what is the value? Whatever the situation you think what would bring them value? A lot of people just want an analysis of what's going on with one of their biggest assets in their life. Some people really are looking to save money per month right now. So refis are like through the roof. So again, those are 2 points of value, you know, and if a conversation about real estate comes up, then obviously you would address that as it may be. Just for you, Nicole, a couple people asked some questions.
Sure.
Julie had said SOI contacts. A lot of her SOI contacts are in some form of the real estate business. Do you think I am wasting my time with meeting with other agents to let them know I am also in the business?
Are those real estate agents working in the same city or areas that you want to? Then I probably would say yes. If they are in outer areas, well, I don't think it's too much because it could bring great referral business into you. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. You know, there's like a saying, you know, you don't want to hang out completely with realtors all the same time because we're not going to be giving away our clients to other realtors. Yeah. So, but I mean, if it's like, you know, agents that are working outside of your area, you know, like we have great agents, me and Nick, you know, we know a lot of associated broker agents. And that's great because when the time comes, if we need clients out in that area, we know agents that we can send to, you know, so whatever the case may be, you just don't want to have too many of those in your sphere of influence because
I would
you know.
also argue the fact that a lot of people are moving out of state right now, and you'd be surprised if you make friends with enough realtors, if people like you the best out of their sphere of influence of realtors, like you become close with other realtors at other companies or what have you. I've seen so many agents pick up an entire book of business just because that agent's like, hey, I'm moving to Idaho, I'm retiring. Can you be my go-to? And I can just collect 25% on everything you do off my book of business. I've seen that happen all the time. So I don't feel that there's any threat with being really close with our realtor partner, you know, friends and whatnot within your office, outside your office. I always think the more the merrier. Just obviously spend your time wisely. Don't make it all about the real estate community. Also make it about new business too. The other question for you, Nicole, would be from Joni. She said the one thing about her SOI is that there are so many of them that already have established relationships with an agent.
So
That's a good I like that.
sorry.
Okay.
So what? You are going to provide your value to them. You know, everybody clicks with everybody on a different level, right? We all have a person that no matter if they have established relationships with other real estate agents, there may be more of a connection that you're going to hit with some person. You know, I know point in case, I have family members that they have other extended family members that are realtors. But I always try to you always want to provide your value, provide your trust to them. I think the biggest thing that I've always held true to, and some of my family and friends is like, well, I don't want you to know my personal information and I don't want you to spread my personal information. Listen, this is a business contact. I'm not going to be spreading your personal information out amongst any of our family or friends. As you can see, I've been providing you value. Nobody probably even knows that I've been trying to provide you value and providing you with real estate documentation or helping you on a CMA, because nobody knows that I've been doing that. As you can see, we've already have a great trust here as we are friendship or we're acquaintances, and you probably can see, at least knowing that if you trust me and use me, there's still going to be that confidence level that you're going to have instilled with me. There's going to be that trusted relationship. So yeah, I'd say, so what if they have other family and friends that they've already been well established with another agent? You never know who is going to pay off. And if you're going to keep nurturing those leads and that sphere of influence, they may be able to provide you with some, you know, referral-based business. You never know. I say, who cares? Does that help answer a little bit?
And I think Christy Hudson also pointed out be better. And that is something that I noticed so many times, kind of piggybacking off of what Nicole said. How many times, I mean, there's some seasoned agents on this call. How many times have you been in an open house and you just have a conversation with somebody and they're like, well, gosh, our realtor never talked to us like this, or our realtor never said this to us. And you're kind of like, well, this is just what I do. You know, you're like, this is how I operate. So I do think being better is hugely critical. I can tell you right now, I have a barbecue happening at my house with like 4 or 5 family friends. They're coming over. I know one of them's in the market because they already have an established realtor. They're coming over tomorrow at 2:00. And one of them already has an established relationship with a realtor. We've already had a conversation of it. I said, you know, I'm going to be respectful of that with you. And I let it be, right? But she's coming over to my house tomorrow. And I already found a house in my neighborhood. So one of the first things I'm going to bring up to her is like, hey, did your realtor show you that? You know, and that's going to be a conversation tomorrow at 2:00. And it's like, you know, hey, is your realtor doing all that they can do to really give you access to everything that's going on out there? I don't know. I think being better is highly critical. So I don't want
You're showing your value.
I don't want you to steal people's clients, but I do want you to be better than the rest.
I love it. Thank you. So we're going to start kind of wrapping things up a little bit. So there is some more homework today, and we're going to kind of go over that here shortly. But hopefully today, looking through your workbooks, because your workbooks do have a lot more information in them. You know, when we were in person, we actually hit on them probably a little bit more, but virtual, we're kind of designed up a different way. So hopefully you're able to see what your right and wrong problems are, recognize the key elements of a relationship, implement some sort of prioritization system to impact your outcomes, meaning within your sphere influence, help identify and improve proven best practices for your time management, right? Implement your 4-step ABCD approach to developing and cultivating leads, okay? So going through and talking about your achieves for session 3, which is today, in your workbooks, you're also able to find this through your Coldwell Banker University, guys, is you're going to talk about your best day ever, and that's setting up your daily plan of what will work for you and giving you your prioritization of 1, 2, and 3s of what is important to do throughout the day. Talking about your sphere influence, trying to set up a relationship starter campaign, and then going through the MLS listing hot sheets, basically going in and looking at your matrix, looking at your MLS every single day to see what is new and going on in the marketplace, okay? And then of course, still reaching out to your contacts and trying to reach your calls. Those are your, daily goals. Those are your weekly goals. And then don't forget to log those as well in your Coldwell Banker stuff. Excuse me. So hopefully today you were able to learn a little bit about, I think the ABCs are a great thing to be able to reflect on. I think a lot of us have problems and issues with time management. So trying to set up your best day ever, I think is going to be key for you guys later on today to be able to go through and really set that up and see what is going to work from you. One of my agents here in the office here at Lakewood, he has on his desk his weekly calendar, and he really has been sticking to that even through the pandemic of knowing, time blocking his time of what his priorities are, A, B, and C. And he really kind of hits on those. And he hasn't even taken this course. I'll let you know that one. But he's really kind of been sticking through that. And so far, he's really found that that's working for him this year for 2020, is having his calendar out. And, he doesn't have it split, as far as like at 9 o'clock today, I got to do this. He just has like 9 to 11, A, B, and C. This is what he's doing, and he leaves himself like his half hour. And then, he'll go like 11:30 to 1:30 is kind of, this is what he's supposed to be doing. And then leaves all of his Trotsky information and his to-dos for the afternoon. So I think in page 80, there is a whole list on your workbook as well about that. So hopefully those are some things for you guys to take and enhance. And again, your homework is going to be under Coldwell Banker University. And if you guys want a preview of that, of where to go again, just let me know and we'll do that after class. So you're going to look for week 1, session 3. Okay, so that's where you're going to go in Coldwell Banker University under your virtual AMP. So just wanted to remind you guys there. Next week, again, we're going to talk about, Nick's going to take over. He'll be a lot smoother, like a smooth operator. He'll talk a little bit about his FSBOs, his expired, closings at work, and your call time. So those are some previews of what we're going to take next week. And then also, I don't know if you guys know this, because I don't think I hit on this on Monday, but when you are all done with our sessions, and here it says you attend and actively participate in 10 of the 12 sessions, me and Nick will talk about that. And you post your contacts in our e-scoreboards with at least showing what you've been doing and your contacts, hitting those daily goals or those weekly goals. At the end of when we're completely done, you're going to be able to get your AMP completion certificate. So some of us love those certificates. I do have an agent that asked when, I'm not going to say her name, but you know who you are. Do I get a certificate if I participate? Yes, you get a certificate that you get when we're all done participating. So I'm looking to see if she's smiling right now because she knows who she is with that certificate.
Nicole, can I ask again, because I'm a little confused with the RE scoreboard, and you said it in the beginning that you don't do it in, where do you do it again? Because I did it in the wrong place, so I'm confused.
So how to properly log your contacts is through Zap. So Zap has an RE scoreboard on the left-hand side. You're going to click on the little tab that says RE scoreboard. Sorry, I'm talking too much.
Nicole,
Yes.
Nicole, why don't you share your screen and just walk them through
Yay!
it? Let's just do that because
I prefer that, but I don't want glossy eyes.
I doubt Jen is the only person who has that question.
And
Thank you, Nick.
Isn't that-
I might be, but thank you for saying that.
No, but that's fair because I just have a feeling, you know.
okay, let me share my screen.
We got a
here.
lot of emails on Monday, so I know for a fact that, or on Friday too. So I know for.
And I was so proud of myself for like getting it in, and of course it's in the wrong place.
That's okay. Okay, so here's your Zap dashboard. Okay, mine may look a little bit different than you because I have an admin button. But on the left-hand side of this beauty of Zap, you go down here and see where it says RE scoreboard. Can everybody see this? Am I sharing it correctly?
Yep.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Sorry, my throat. You're going to click on that RE scoreboard button. And over on the right-hand side, you are going to have some buttons here. What you will need to do is go to take a course. See this guy right here? You are going to scroll down, and at first it shows you AMP, but we're not in regular AMP, peoples. We're in virtual AMP. So we need to scroll down for virtual AMP.
Oh,
And I think
we're accessing everything through Zap. I should be like accessing the whole class through Zap.
Well, you have to enroll this way as well.
Okay, all right.
And there is one, and I'm not seeing it right now because I'm probably already enrolled it. Ah, there we go. See where it says CBCA AMP Live via Zoom. You're going to enroll in this bad boy. I'm already enrolled, so therefore the little blue enroll button is gone, okay? Once when you click enroll, it's going to ask you to confirm. Yes, you're going to confirm. You're going to be able to go over here to where it says record activity on the right-hand side. This is where you're able every day, and I usually recommend at the end of the day or as you're closing out your day, to go in and record how many contacts I made today. Do you see that? Or how many appointments I've made today. There should be, yep, right here down at the bottom, a save button. Sorry guys, I'm just talking too much and my vocal cords are showing it.
So the way this one's different than the other one is the other one had you setting goals as well. So this one doesn't have you setting goals.
That is where you're supposed to set your goals, but I'm going to tell you there is a little secret in Zap. There is a way to set your goals. So if you go up here, let me save this really fast. And see this where it says My Progress? You can click on My Progress and it's going to show you where my goals are at. Okay, see where it says monthly goal, 93 contacts. I've made 5 out of 93 contacts. Okay, this little edit button right here, you're able to go in and edit how many contacts you need to make a day. So this is basically also setting your goals. Okay, so that's where you're able to go through and do this as well. And then you're able to set your goal. So then my contacts have changed now because I changed my goals. So now I need 150 more contacts to meet my monthly goal. So this is kind of like the little secret workaround that you're able to do. That makes sense.
Peggy had a good question. I think I know what this is. It says, what is a stay conversation? I think a stay conversation has to do with recruiting. I don't think it has anything to do with agent production. So don't stress on the stay conversation.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Yeah, it's not, has nothing to do with you guys. Where can we see recorded AMP classes? I did send out the recording from last week. I'm going to start uploading them to YouTube just as like a private link, and I'll share those with you guys so you guys can also view them on YouTube as well, but they'll be private. You won't be able to search for them. So I can send out the links to those. Yeah, our goal is to record this entire session so you guys will have it for the future too.
Yeah, and really fast to Krista, I walked Vicky through, and I think Derek was able to find it.
I
I'm
looked and I can't find it, and I just didn't see it there when you were scrolling down either.
well, when I'm scrolling down, I'm unable to see it because the way that it's set up is only for your company. So
Uh,
only
there,
your
Krista.
agents are able to be there.
okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
This is Joni. I'm with the same company, Krista. It's there. You just have to scroll down a little farther.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Because I was like, wait a minute, I helped Derek yesterday. It was there. So that's how come. And initially, that's why we had a little bit of a lag. It's because when we initially set this up, we were told that it was going to be able to be seen by your brokerage and by ours and others. And unfortunately, that was not the case. So that's how come we had to kind of go through it and reset it up your guys' way. Just like I was told under Coldwell Banker University, it's not showing visible outside of our agents when we were initially told it was. So it's been a little bit of a trial and error. You know, it's technology. Again, we're trying this the first time virtually. So with other companies, usually we don't have to worry because we just keep it in company. So excuse me. So any questions on the RE scoreboard, guys? Of how to get there, how to change it. If you need to change your goals, you're able to do it just right here by this edit button. But again, to be able to record your activity, you're able to go through this way and record it directly there. You're also able, if you wanted to, because this is where our competitive edge comes along, but if you wanted to click on the leaderboard, you're able to see the other agents amongst your company who are in the class and where they stand with their leads. So it always creates nice little friendly competition of where you are placed. Okay, so like right now, Melissa is in number 1 because she has 5 contacts and 3 appointments. So just to let you guys know, that's where you would
Way
see
to go. Love it.
Yeah, I know, that's awesome.
I'm sorry, we're in competition with Nicole. I'm seeing Nicole's name in here. What's going
Nicole is only in there, Smarty Pants, to be able to show you guys how to enroll and see it. But trust me, I ain't doing
Good.
it.
I just got really nervous. I'm like, really?
Don't tempt her though. If she turns it on, you're all screwed. So,
I know.
don't make her do it.
You know, I love competition. Tell me. I will.
Yeah, me too.
Nicole,
Yes.
where do we find this?
Oh,
Where do we find this page?
right
Which one
here
right
under,
now?
right here under
Okay.
leaderboard.
I see it now. Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, let's go back. Can you guys see back to my AMP screen? Or are
Not
you guys still on Zap?
Not yet.
Okay, let me. Can you see it now?
Yep.
Yay. Okay. Oops, hold on. I think we got just a little bit more, but actually I think that is it for yep. That is it basically for today.
All right, guys. Well, thank you again, you finished your first week. Awesome.
I know. Exciting, right? Oops, let me get out of this. So is there anything special you guys wanted to hit on if we have a few minutes to be able to go over? Any questions? Nick, you're probably going to send out an email today, right, with week 2 stuff?
Yep.
Question, Nicole or Nick.
Yeah, this is Christine. I just wanted to make sure I have the right ratio or ratios for contact to appointment and appointment to close.
Okay, that'll probably be, we can do that after the call, Christine, because yours is probably, yours is going to be whatever is customizable for you.
Okay.
Derek, you were chiming in.
Yeah, I had actually 2 questions, kind of sort of tangent. So you guys are using Zap as your CRM, right? If I have Elevated my contacts won't be there. You know?
just have to log into the Zap system just to record your activity. You don't necessarily have to use the CRM if you're using something else, but just to record your activity, yeah, we would want you to log into Zap and find your cohort and log your info.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Second question is sort of kind of on a tangent, and I'm sure people may want to jump out of here because I asked some crazy rookie questions. But you guys mentioned before about knowing your neighborhood and what's going on. So my question as a rookie, I mean, besides, you know, using the GPS and seeing where it is and getting the weather, those are the only things I know, and I'm trying to figure out what types of information I should start keying myself in on.
Well, there's a great app to kind of stay in touch with your local neighborhood for more stuff. Yeah, Peggy said Facebook groups, but I was actually going to say nextdoor.com. If you don't have Nextdoor on your phone for your neighborhood, you're totally missing the boat. I personally am in, you know, Santa Ana, and I will tell you right now, I wouldn't know half the stuff going on in my neighborhood if I didn't have that app. So that's a great way to stay in touch. And again, if you go to your city website, sometimes they even have neighborhoods broken down with different community groups or community organizations, depending on the area, if you want to get in touch with them. But yeah, just get involved. I think that's the biggest thing with neighborhoods. That's why some realtors really shine with local expertise, because they get super, super, super involved.
And some agents utilize and use the area where they live. So because they feel comfortable there. So they may pick their own neighborhood.
Peggy said Nextdoor from my area is scary how much these folks know. Yeah, it's true. For me too, my area, it's super scary with Nextdoor. Like sometimes I'm on there and I'm thinking, I don't need to know that somebody was robbed 4 doors away from me. Like I really don't need to know that. But I still think Nextdoor, if you're new to your area or you don't feel comfortable, be on there for a few months. You'll pick it up pretty quickly with like what's going on, who the players are, and maybe you can go ahead and then touch base. You know, I know for my neighborhood, we're in a historical neighborhood. And there's one lady who's the point of contact, and I never would have known who that lady was unless I was on Nextdoor. So I at least learned that, which she kind of keeps me tied to what's happening. So maybe you're on there for a little while, just understand it, and then you know, get off. Because I do agree with Peggy. There's certain things we don't need to know.
Because we need to disclose, right? If we know, we need to disclose.
Yeah, I'm like, I almost don't want to sell a house on my street because I know too much. You know what I mean? That kind of. It's Andre said, as a newbie, should we spread marketing? To gain context in our neighborhood, being involved in volunteer community things to get more kind of, yeah, I always think getting involved is good. You need your license though to talk about real estate, so be careful, Andre, with that. Don't get too carried away. Don't do anything real estate related, but yes, you can always get involved ahead of time. I know for most communities have like a beautification community. Some people have like a social committee. Depending on how involved the neighborhood is, there's all kinds of different things you can do to get involved. So I'm a big advocate for things like that.
Okay.
When you're walking around the neighborhood, wear your real estate badge. I swear to God. Like, I'm just going to share something that's
huge.
It's huge. And I just literally during this call, I just got a text from my neighbor asking if I'd be their realtor because they want to find something. That just happened. And it's just because, I mean, I feel dorky a lot of times when I'm wearing that thing out. I won't lie. Sometimes I'm wearing that thing at the market and I'm feeling a little kind of funny, but it really does pay off. And to walk I walk my dogs in the neighborhood and I'm always just putting that thing on because you never know.
You guys, I used to have an agent that prospected at grocery stores. Her entire business was grocery stores because all she did was wear her name tag. I kid you not. She lived in Rossmore, which if for those of you that know our area, Rossmore is not too far away. And she'd just go shopping at the same grocery store. She had 3 kids, so she's always there. And she wore her name tag, and she's super successful just off of that. So, like, you're right. Name tags are huge, totally underrated. Just like notepads sometimes get underrated. Huge. Notepads are still huge.
So I've also, I think another good thing, Jennifer, too. Sorry, Nick.
No, I'm done.
Okay, sorry. I had this thought, and I was like, oh, no, don't let me lose it. It's Friday. Go and have some shirts made up.
Good idea. Good idea.
Do we freeze?
3 of them. Sometimes you can order them through Vistaprint, or if you have a local printer, and just have, it says my internet's unstable. Are you hearing me good?
You're okay. You cut out a minute ago.
Okay. But get a few shirts and have like a cute design if you have a logo, but on the back put like for all your real estate needs or whatever the case may be, whatever your slogan is, with your phone number, big bold print with your name and our company, and wear it every time you go and walk the dogs. When my kids go out for their runs, I make them put on my shirt. I swear to God, I do. My husband has them and he wears them to work. He's in construction, so he's walking around all the time with my information on his back.
See, now, so now I need to find a husband for that. Thanks for sharing that.
No, you're fine. You got the dogs. Walk the dogs.
I mean, now I have a new goal.
But Derek, going back to Derek, does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. I really appreciate it. It sounds like that Nextdoor is kind of like a Facebook secondary or whatever.
Kind of.
You kind of see the feed of stuff going through.
Yes.
Okay. I will investigate. Really appreciate your help. Thank you.
You're welcome. No, Christine, you can't borrow my kids.
Oh,
Sorry. I labor them. I get them.
Andre's question is, what should we do if we only have a personal phone number and get nervous of answering phone calls because of spam calls? Get over it. You are in real estate. Get answer your freaking phone, people. I tell you right now, answer your phone. Sometimes we only get one shot at this. You answer your phone.
Yep. Absolutely.
All the time.
No matter where you're at. I lost out on a referral because I think I was like in Lowe's or something, and I didn't want to answer the phone call. And by the time, it literally was like 5 minutes later, I got back out to my car, tried to call the lady back, and she's like, oh, I had a referral, but actually you didn't answer your phone. And I went on to the next person. And I was like, well, you left me a freaking voicemail. Like, give me a minute to call you back for not even 5 minutes ago. She's like, yeah, no, I just wanted to speak to somebody right then and there. And I was like, okay, fine. So, yeah, always answer your phone. You never know. Money could be on the other end. Okay, guys, do you guys have anything else?
yeah, I have one question regarding the work we had for this week was to upload our vision board into our Facebook page. Do we have a group Facebook page?
We don't. And remember I said, just go ahead and send that picture to me and Nick.
Okay. I just put it on my personal page just to
That's fine.
make sure
looky.
I had it. Thank you.
Oh, geez. I see Andrew's comment. Okay, well, if you guys don't have anything more, I think we're going to sign off for this Freaky Friday. And be prepared for Monday. And Nick's going to lead you through next week. I'll be on the call as well, but we'll be in opposite roles. So I'll be handling chat. So anything else?